Elon Musk, the man who refused to stop. He was bullied so badly in school. He was thrown down a flight of stairs and beaten until he was unconscious. He once lived on just $1 a day, surviving only on hot dogs and oranges. He was fired from his own company while on vacation, humiliated by investors, and laughed at by NASA. 3 rockets exploded in a row, destroying millions of dollars and almost destroying his dream forever. He had to borrow money for rent, even while running 2 companies, and yet, this man is now building rockets to Mars, electric cars that outsell giants like Toyota and Ford, and even brain-computer interfaces that could change humanity itself. His name is Elon Musk, but his journey, it's not a fairy tale. It's a brutal war of failures, betrayals, sleepless nights, and insane risks that no sane person would ever take. This is the complete life story of the man who refused to stop. A difficult childhood in South Africa. Elon Reeve Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa. From the outside, his childhood looked comfortable. His family was relatively wealthy. His mother, May Musk, was a Canadian-born model and dietitian. His father, Elon Musk, was an electromechanical engineer, pilot, and property developer. But behind closed doors, Elon's childhood was far from happy. His parents divorced when he was just 9 years old. Elon mostly stayed with his father, a decision he would later call the biggest mistake of his life. Elon has publicly spoken about how difficult and emotionally abusive his relationship with his father was. At school, things weren't any easier. Elon was small, shy, and bookish. He spent most of his free time reading, devouring science fiction novels, encyclopedias, and comic books. By the age of 9, he had read through 2 complete sets of encyclopedias, but his love for knowledge made him a target. He was constantly bullied. One day, a group of boys pushed him down a flight of stairs and beat him so badly that he was hospitalized and had to undergo surgery to fix his nose. Despite the bullying, Elon's curiosity never faded. At just 12 years old, he taught himself computer programming and created a video game called Blastar, which he sold for $500. It was the first sign of his entrepreneurial spirit, but as he grew older, Elon began to realize something important. He didn't want to stay in South Africa. Not only was the country under apartheid, a brutally racist system, but staying there also meant mandatory military service. Elon wanted no part in supporting a government he didn't believe in. His dream was bigger. America, the land of opportunity, the place where great inventors like Thomas Edison had thrived. At just 17, Elon made the bold decision to leave South Africa forever, escape to North America. In 1989, with nothing but ambition, Elon moved to Canada. Thanks to his mother's Canadian citizenship, he enrolled at Queen's University in Ontario. But life wasn't easy. He didn't come from wealth anymore. He had to work odd jobs just to survive. He cleaned boilers in a lumber mill, worked on farms, and even door-to-door sales. Elon lived frugally. At one point, he and his brother Kimball Musk tried an experiment, living on just $1 a day. They survived on cheap hot dogs, oranges, and spaghetti. Elon later said, "I figured if I could live like that, I could survive anywhere." After 2 years, Elon transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, where he studied physics and economics. He slept on the floor of his friend's dorm room, rented his house out for parties to cover expenses, and spent most of his time reading or working on ideas. By graduation in 1995, Elon had a choice: continue with a PhD at Stanford, or drop out to chase business ideas. He lasted 2 days at Stanford before leaving to pursue the internet boom. First startup, Zip2. In 1995, Elon and his brother Kimball started Zip2, a company that provided online city guides for newspapers. It was the early days of the internet, and most people didn't even believe online businesses would work. The Musk brothers were broke. They rented a tiny office and literally slept on the floor, showering at the YMCA. Elon coded all night, often collapsing at his desk. But slowly, Zip2 gained traction. Newspapers began to see value in bringing their content online. After years of grinding, in 1999, Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon, just 28 years old, walked away with $22 million. X.com, PayPal, and betrayal. Most people would retire at that point. not Elon. He immediately invested his money into a new startup, X.com, an online bank. At the time, online banking was seen as insane. But Elon had a vision. Financial systems should move entirely to the internet. X.com merged with another startup, Confinity, which had a money transfer product called PayPal. The merger was messy. Elon wanted to push his own vision, but the team clashed. Eventually, while Elon was on vacation, the board of directors voted him out as CEO. It was a brutal betrayal. Elon had been kicked out of his own company. But when eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion in 2002, Elon's stake was worth $165 million. He could have retired then, at just 31. Instead, he bet it all again. SpaceX, the laughingstock. In 2002, Elon founded SpaceX with the dream of making space travel affordable and colonizing Mars. People thought he was insane. Rockets. He had no background in aerospace. But Elon wasn't joking. He invested $100 million of his own money into SpaceX. He hired engineers, studied textbooks, and learned rocket science himself. The results: 2006, first rocket launch gives failure. 2007, second launch gives failure. 2008, third launch gives failure. 3 rockets, 3 disasters, hundreds of millions lost. SpaceX was on the brink of collapse. Elon himself admitted he was almost bankrupt. But in September 2008, the 4th rocket launched, and this time, it succeeded. SpaceX became the first private company to send a rocket into orbit. Just weeks later, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract. SpaceX was saved. Tesla, driving on the edge of bankruptcy. Back in 2004, Elon had also invested in a little electric car company called Tesla Motors. Most people thought electric cars were a joke, slow, ugly, impractical. But Elon pushed Tesla to build cars that were fast, beautiful, and desirable. The journey was brutal. By 2008, Tesla was running out of money. Investors pulled back. Elon had gone through a painful divorce. He had to borrow money for rent while running 2 companies. In December 2008, Tesla secured last-minute funding, saving the company from bankruptcy. Elon later said it was the worst year of his life, but he never stopped. And today, Tesla is worth over $700 billion, making it the most valuable car company in the world. Building the empire. Elon didn't stop at Tesla and SpaceX. SolarCity, later acquired by Tesla, gives pushing solar energy. Neuralink gives brain-computer interfaces. The Boring Company gives underground tunnels to fight traffic. OpenAI co-founder gives artificial intelligence research. Twitter, X gives purchased in 2022 for $44 billion to protect free speech. Each project sounded crazy at first, but Elon has built a reputation for turning the impossible into reality. Controversies and criticisms. Of course, Elon Musk is far from perfect. He has been accused of being harsh with employees, demanding insane hours. His tweets have sparked lawsuits, SEC investigations, and wild stock swings. He's been called reckless, arrogant, even dangerous. And yet, despite the controversies, millions admire him as a visionary, someone who dares to dream at a scale others can't even imagine. The man behind the myth. What drives Elon Musk? He reads obsessively, sometimes 10 hours a day. He works 80 to 100 hours a week. He often sleeps on the Tesla factory floor instead of going home. He admits he struggles with loneliness and personal relationships, but through it all, his philosophy is simple. If something is important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. Elon Musk is not a superhero. He is not a genius who always wins. He is a man who fails, who breaks down, who gets betrayed, who risks everything, and yet refuses to stop. His rockets exploded. His cars almost bankrupted him. His words sometimes destroyed his own wealth. And yet he keeps going. Maybe that's the real lesson. Greatness isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. Elon Musk may one day colonize Mars. He may one day fail spectacularly. But one thing is certain. He will never, ever quit.